my dudes, hey to the newcomers, hey to the people returning, and hey to Shalena, the only person who actually watches these. So, today I'm going to be covering one of my favorite fan fictions of all time, My Immortal. It's one of the most infamous Harry Potter fan fictions, maybe most infamous fan fictions ever of all time, so I'm going to talk about it. First of all, some background information. My Immortal was a fanfic published on the website fanfiction.net in like 2006 and 2007. There are two authors, like the main one, Tara Gilsby. That's what she's referred to by people who read it. And then there's also an editor who's mentioned briefly named Raven. And there's some drama there, which I'll get into later. It is basically like gothic Harry Potter. Gothic, if you want to be hip with it, since it's always misspelled. There's so much spelling errors. So many spelling errors. See, we all make mistakes. But, okay, so that's like some basic background information. Now I'm going to go into the plot, since like some plot information will also help you understand more. Okay, so the protagonist of this story is Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way. And she's a POV character. She is 17 years old. She is gothic. She's a vampire, and she's hot. That's talked about a lot. She's hot. She wishes she wasn't hot because like too many boys like her. So some of the main characters from the series, specifically, mostly Harry, and Hermione also, who their names are changed. So Harry is now Vampire Potter, and Hermione is Bloody Mary Smith. And there's this whole weird backstory. I don't have time to explain it. If you want to look it up, it's like pretty early on in the fic, around chapter 8, I think, if you're curious. And then the other main character who's in it is Draco, but Draco already sounds gothic, so they didn't have to change that. So it's kind of like Ebony has a crush on Draco, and then she starts dating Draco, and then she sees a tattoo on Draco, and it's his Vampire Potter, obviously. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're cheating on me with Vampire, and she storms into a rage, and then it turns out that Vampire and Draco are exes, and then like a bunch of stuff happens that I don't entirely remember. It gets really weird and hard to understand. And then Voldemort shows up, and he gives Ebony a gun, and is like, you have to kill Vampire Potter, or I will kill thy beloved Draco. And she's like, how do you know? And he's like, I have telekinesis. And then like Dumbledore, he's a poser now. Like he listens to Avril Lavigne, and he paints the Great Hall black, but underneath it is pink paint because he's a prep poser, you know. And then there's time travel near the ending. So like they have to go back in time, and Ebony has to seduce Voldemort, that's how it's misspelled a lot, into not becoming Voldemort. And it's like the time travel part, they go back to the 80s, and all of the Marauders are there, and she joins like a gothic band, and it's a mess. It's incomprehensible mess. And then it has an abrupt ending because it got taken off of fanfiction.net, which I'll get into later. So now I'm going to talk about some drama between Tara and Raven, the two authors. So partially through the story, I think around like chapter 15, but it could be later, I don't entirely remember, Tara gets angry at Raven and is like, I hate you, you're done, we're not friends anymore. And then the grammar severely goes downhill because Raven was the editor. And so they get in a fight, but they end. Raven has a insert character to Willow, and Willow, I think like she gets murdered or expelled or something. I don't entirely remember. I think maybe both. But she shows up again after they make up, and Willow shows back up in the story. But the grammar doesn't really improve. It's a mess. Okay. Also, a lot of through the story in the author's notes. Author's notes are a big part of My Immortal, and they're not just at the beginning or end. They're throughout the story, and there's a lot of like haha cheeky comments, like making fun of people, being like, if you hate this, you're a prep. Only the gothics will like it, you know. And then she also begs for reviews and is like, she realizes it's clear. You can tell Tara realized, hey, all these people are reading it to make fun of it. Maybe I can get something good out of it. So she had people like, she was like, I won't post an update until I get like 5 good reviews, and then later she gets it to 10. Now, next, near the end, some of the last chapters are hacked. So, basically, someone got a hold of account, maybe, who knows, it could have been Tara, if this is all a troll, because it's that bad, people think it might be a troll. Anyway, someone hacked into it, and they wrote this whole ending where, like, Ebony died, and she went to hell, and became a prep. It's weird. So it got removed from fanfiction.net. I'm not sure if this is because of, like, content guidelines, due to, like, there are many mentions of, like, very sensitive topics, and they're not handled well. That's a trigger warning for anyone before you read it. There's mentions of suicide and stuff like that, just a warning. And I'm not sure if it's that, because of those things, that it got removed, or if it's because it includes many copyrighted song lyrics. We'll never know. And I also want to talk about the debate of if it's a troll or not. There's, like, evidence on both sides, which I can get to later in the author drama section, since the authorship's a mystery. And if we knew the author, that could tell us, hey, is this a troll fic? Is this a real fic? But, like, it's so bad, and it includes, like, every single fanfiction trope from the mid-2000s. And that's, like, why people think, is this real? Like, this can't be real, right? Also, this is a little less known, but Raven, and also Raven and Tara, they have a couple other fan fictions out there. Raven, I think it's like there's like one that's like The Ghost of You, and like I forget the other ones, but on the My Immortal wiki you can find it, and I'll try to link them down below. Both of them are kind of lost to time on their original sites, I think, but you can find it on the fanfiction.net wiki, or like the My Immortal wiki, which I can give it to you. I can link down below. It's all good. Author drama. So, we don't know who the author is, like I said before. But there's been a couple of accounts. So there's been many people who've just posted on Tumblr like, hey, I have a confession. I wrote My Immortal. But none of them had any evidence. And what we need to really figure this out is evidence. So that was not a good, valid thing. But then, I think 2017, this YA author came out, and she was writing a memoir, and she was like, I wrote My Immortal, and in my new memoir that's upcoming, I will write about my memoir, as well as like how I'm growing up Native American and being separated from my brother in the foster system. And everyone was like, oh my god, we found her. But then her brother, so Rose Castillo, that's the YA author, her brother went online and he posted about how all of the claims that she made were false. She's not Native American. I don't remember if they were separated in the foster system, but there were, like, she lied a lot. And even though we don't know if she didn't write My Immortal, there's no evidence that she did, and it seems like it was probably just another part of the whole scheme. Then, there was also a YouTube channel, I think it's called XX Bloody Kisses. They actually have like 48,000 subscribers, so I can link them down below. But it was from 2009 is when it was started. And there were the two girls on the channel's names were Tara and Raven. They made videos very similar to the style of My Immortal. They hate preps. They love MCR. Yeah, MCR shows up a lot in this fic, just in case you want to know. Like, they have the same bands. They all the same stuff. They always talk about being gothic and cool. But the two girls on that channel said, no, this YouTube account was a joke. Yes, we were emo, but not when we made this channel. We made this channel to make fun of our younger selves. And we don't know, and they said this, they didn't write it. So finally, I want to get to why you should read it. First of all, it's hilarious. I have, like, legit so many happy memories of reading this. So I was on, like, the bus to a track meet, and, like, yeah. And I was reading it, I was alone, I didn't really have any friends on track. So I was reading it, and I was just laughing, and I sent, like, pictures, screenshots of lines to my friends, and it was great. Secondly, it's a classic piece of fan fiction, even if it's bad. Like, if you're into fan fiction, you should probably read it. It's just, like, everyone knows about it. Finally, it's a product of its time, just kind of a nostalgic look back at, like, 2006, 2007, online internet. Like, a lot of it's, like, that early, like, 2000s, mid-2000s, like, internet typing with, like, the weird misspellings and stuff. And the mystery of authorship, that's, like, kind of fun, Like, we'll never know who Tara Gilsby and Raven are. Which, I know that, but who knows, maybe we will, and don't you kind of want to know what people are talking about when it does come true to light, if it ever does. Yeah, so that's why you should read it. Thanks everyone for watching. I try to upload weekly, probably don't. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to upload weekly-ish, but it might not always be on the same day, but like every week I'll try to upload. And I don't care if Shalana, you're the only one watching this and you're the only one who made it to the end. Who knows, maybe you didn't even make it to the end and no one will ever see this. But I'm happy for anyone watching. Thanks. Bye. Also, here's a picture of me this year dressing up as the protagonist Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway for Halloween.